Hello and welcome. This is the Market Trap. I am Agam Vakil. We're taking a look at how the markets have panned out not only today but through the course of the week. Let's start off by taking a look at how trades panned out today. That's the last day of the trading day. And of course, the Nifty did decline by about 0.3%, but we did see advances for ITC, UPL, and Indian Oil Co-op, all of them advancing by as much as 1%. But the momentum clearly was with the losers in today's day of trade, with the substantial weakness in ITC Bank, which came off. Tata Motors, Bharti Infratel and TCS, all of them coming off by over 2% in trade today. Let's take a look at the broader markets then, and perhaps on the NSE 500 we have something like an Eveready's Industries, where we saw an up move after news reports suggested that well, the promoters are looking to sell their stake in the company. KRBL, Praj Industries and Kaplan Point among others, which are also advancing in trade. On the other hand, on the losing end, 8K Mile Software, Star Cement, Soba and Greenply Industries declining along with HCC. But moving on to how this week has panned out, with respect to the Nifty and the benchmark index, what we're really looking out for is, despite the fact that indices have remained range bound, and if we can have the MRR list here, pardon me, Nifty has advanced by as much as 0.6%, so a little over 0.5% gains coming through on the back of likes of Axis Bank, Tata Motors, ITC and Bharti Airtel. On the losing end, however, OMCs continue to remain under pressure, so we do have BPCL, HPCL leading the losses on the downside, GAIL India, Ultratech Cement and Hero MotoCorp among others which are losing out. Once again, coming down to your broader markets, where we can take a look at the NSE 500, and we do have Praj Industries advancing by as much as 26% through the course of the week. We take Wabag, Himachal Futuristics. Do remember, a lot of these stocks were under some pressure owing to governance issues, but well, for now we do have substantial gains coming in. On the losing end, Group Finance, Lux Industries and Bandhan Bank, along with ILFS Transportation, continue to lose out. Lux Industries is a curious one, considering a loss of around 14%. But what were those factors which actually moved the needle for the markets? What were those events that influenced markets through the course of the week? Well, on Monday we had Group Finance, where the announcement came where it will merge with Bandhan Bank. Since then, we've seen considerable weakness for both the stocks, Group Finance as well as Bandhan Bank. Of course, we also had Fed minutes which indicated a longer pause with respect to any change in interest rate trajectory on Tuesday. And moving on to Wednesday, of course, ITC Bank announced earnings, and we did see high provisioning coming through, but it was largely inline set of numbers coming in. China records a drop in car sales. This is, of course, a warning bell for those which have substantial exposure to Chinese markets, one of them of course being Tata Motors through Jaguar Land Rover. And moving on, TCS earnings we saw come through where margins did disappoint. And of course, we've also had the GST Council which hiked the threshold limit. And of course, today we're going to keep an eye on Infosys. But the government, GOM, of course, formed to decide on taxes levied on real estate as well. And of course, that's a repeat, of course, TCS coming out with margins which are disappointing. But that said, let's also take a look at the technicals and see how things have panned out there, and what is the range that we're expecting the Nifty to move within. Well, we are expecting a 500-point range, at least in the near term, with 10,500 put as the one with the maximum open interest, playing the part of support. And on the higher end, we have the 11,000 mark, which will play as some sort of a resistance given the open interest increase in that particular call. But that said, what are our technical analysts telling us about the levels that we could keep an eye on? This is what they're saying. Listen.
If we are able to see a rise of 10,780 to 10,790, one can go as a sell side with the stop loss of 10,880 and look for the target of 10,640. The time frame to hold this would be, say, 5 to 7 trading session. Yes.
Looking at the weekly candle, it seems to be a little weak. So any pullback from current levels, maybe 30, 40 points or 100 points, should be used as a selling opportunity.
Now, of course, we're heading into another very earnings-heavy week, and there is lots more to look forward to. But what are those things that we are keeping an eye on? Well, first up, we will have the wholesale and consumer price index numbers coming in on Monday. Z Entertainment announces its earnings, well, on Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken. But moving on to a bunch of more earnings. Before that, we also have merchandise trade balance data coming through on Tuesday as well. Now, moving on to Thursday, it's going to be a very big day for heavyweights like Hindustan Unilever and Reliance Industries. On Friday, we have earnings from Wipro, of course, another Nifty earnings. And, well, India's largest private sector bank, HDFC Bank, announces its earnings on Saturday. So it is going to be a very earnings-heavy week. And that perhaps is going to be one of the most important factors that we're going to watch out for as we move into trade next week. On that note, it's a wrap on this edition of the Market Wrap, and lots more lined up, so stay tuned to Bloomberg.